What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is HUD Wednesday nights, talking another Phillies choke job. Let's get after them.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. You mentioned HUD Radio, 10% off your order. As always, no eating. The Shamrock, Luke Brown, Greg Moakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. Welcome in, everybody. It's been like 10. This has been 10 years of this shit. Like, it's been 10 years of opening shows on this platform with one title. One title. In a monster sports city. A monster sports city. We'll get into that. All right, we'll get into that. We got a lot to go over. I don't even know. We may get in the Eagles-Browns quick preview, right? Because really, is another train wreck waiting to happen? You know what I mean? We can sniff this one from a mile away, too. We'll lose to the Browns. So we want to do this? Like,
Plus nine's actually looking real good.
You don't want to do this tonight? Like, I can tell you how that's going to age. This is a problem. Are major changes coming from the Phillies? Right? Or is that what's going to happen this offseason? We'll talk about that. Season's over. It's another choke job. Let's get into the poll and we'll talk about everything else. The Phillies collapse is worse than the 2023 Eagles season. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just because football's weird. Like, they were 10-1. That's a major choke job. That's a collapse. Absolutely. Nobody's debating that. It's hard to even compare the two. This is $1 billion lineup. You want to talk about stupid money? This is the stupid money lineup. I'm not saying it's a stupid lineup. I'm just saying, well, maybe it is, right? But I'm just saying it's a stupid money lineup. Okay? Tons of resources allocated to this lineup being the best in baseball. Lineup got 4 hits tonight against Jose Quintana, who's never been good. He might have been good in like 2016 when he threw a no-no for the Red Sox, or 2018, whenever the hell he threw a no-no for the Red Sox. He might have been good there. Sean Manaea. Has Sean Manaea ever been good? No. Like, are we getting mowed down by jabrones? We're getting mowed down by run-of-the-mill cats. I'm tired of it. I'm tired because you know what greatness does? Greatness smokes those kind of cats. That's when you asked me if I was worried about this series. I was not, because a real team whoops their ass. A fraud group has this happen to them. Again, against a team that's not as good as them. This is the problem. You want to be great? You want to walk? You want to go down Broad Street with a goddamn Clydesdale? You want to do those types of things? You beat up on people that aren't as good as you. And the New York Mets, with all due respect, a great series win for them. All right? Well deserved. They're not as good. Mm-hmm. They're not. You can't say that. People are going to come in the chat and talk about the 2022 Phillies and all this nonsense. I'm going to end that conversation right there. You know how I'm going to end it? Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, shut your mouth, okay? Something the New York Mets do not have. So Braves fans who are disappointed to losing against us, look who they lost against. They can at least go home and lay their head down and say, I got mowed by Wheeler. I got mowed by a 1 and a 2, right? I got mowed by real cats, real guys, Cy Young candidates, all-star appearances. You're getting mowed down by Jose. Who started game 1? I don't even know. That's the point I'm making here. Nobody of real substance. That's who you lose to. Pete Alonso's the biggest dork in baseball history. All right? Look at what you're losing to. The only real winner on that team is Francisco Lindor, who proved it tonight again. Yeah. Okay? And I'm not saying the rest of the team isn't winners. Like, they're good. They're a good baseball team, right? But I'm making the point. It's like, sorry, Marte's like 90. Good player still, right? But who's scaring you? You just lost. And you can't even go out trick or treat. You be scared of everybody. You know what I mean? Like, who are you scared of with this team that worries you going into this series? There was nobody. And
Kitty cats.
You're 1-5 in your last six postseason games, and 4 of them have been at home, man. 4 of them have been at home. You want to talk about fraudulent? You want to talk about when I said this out loud and everybody laughed at me? I don't care because he's been the best player on this team. Is Bryce Harper a winner? Like, I'm not, this isn't about him. He's had a great postseason run in his career here in Philadelphia. Or it's just the guys around him are just not good enough. I don't know. I don't know because they are. So
they should be.
This is where you get in this dilemma. So I'll end my rant. Like, I agree, like, for a million things that I probably mentioned throughout that, but that's a joke. That's a joke. Like, if I'm John Middleton, you're walking home from New York. You're walking home from Citi Field tonight. Mm-hmm. Everybody's getting their own Uber. You understand? You guys gonna make me look like a fraud? Because that's embarrassing. That's non-competitive ABs in 3 out of 4 games. 3 out of 4 games, non-competitive ABs up and down this goddamn lineup.
Yeah. You could probably argue all 4. You could probably argue all 4.
I'll give you the game you win because you put up 7.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't smoke you for putting up 7.
Some guys had dreadful series the entire series.
Oh.
Right. So, and most of our lineup. I mean, you could probably count Bryce and Nicky as guys that actually had a pulse in this series. Maybe not in the biggest moments, but had pulses in this series. Everybody else was dreadful.
See, John's a moron. John, I love you to death, but you're a moron. This is what I say about you. You don't listen. Do you listen, Johnny? Before I freaking flip out with no caffeine at 10:45 at night with a sore freaking throat because of this goddamn baseball team, John. Listen to what I'm saying to you. The 2022 Phillies had 2 things that the New York goddamn Mets don't have. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. That's what can win you a series. That's where you can wrap your head around losing to a team. The fucking Jose Quintana, Sean freaking stupid Manaea, and whatever freaking other garbage they ran out there. Which this baseball team has done for 4 years now. Come up small against guys they shouldn't.
Absolutely. And I agree to the poll. And it all comes down to, as you said in the top, Tommy, the money of the stars on this team, right? The last year Eagles, while they were 10-1 and they collapsed, right? They didn't have this year's roster of price tags, right? When you had Saquon and yet, you paid Jalen and you paid Devontae and you paid AJ, right? That all came on the offseason, right? That came after the collapse, which is all bananas, right? But this team should not I'm still at a loss for words. I still can't process what we've watched over the last week. I still can't process it because it was so bad. It was so bad what we watched, and it is by far the biggest collapse. We're sitting there at the All-Star break thinking this team is going to win 105 games. Noah jokingly said 110, but that's where we were with this team. That's where they were at that point. And then, to their credit, the New York Mets had we're going this way, and we were heading this way the entire time. And this is absolutely 100% a much bigger collapse than the Philadelphia Eagles, to me.
Well, here it is right here. Schwarber, the entire series. He had the leadoff home run. Then in game 1, right, came up to bat, second at bat, had a single. What did he do after that? Nothing. He had 2 hits the entire series. All right. Our top 2 hitters tonight, right? 1 and 2 hole, 0 for 8. That's just simply not good enough. All right. Our bullpen didn't get any outs of any meaning. All right. They couldn't get out of jams when you needed them to. You couldn't get a third out. Especially out of the pen. I couldn't tell you how many times I saw 2 strikes on a hitter. All right. And then they leave a pitch up over the middle of the plate and it gets hammered. I mean, it's just unacceptable. And then the one guy for the New York Mets that you can't let beat us in Francisco Lindor. You know, I don't know what to say, fellas. The bottom line is the bullpen was trash, and we didn't hit the ball with any consistency, or at all for that matter. It's just not good enough, period. I mean, you know, you tip the cap to the New York Mets. You know, they played their hearts out. They're moving on. They deserve to. They outplayed us. They wanted it more. They were much smarter at the plate. They played small ball when they had to. They worked the count. I mean, look, Ranger, well, he was far from perfect tonight, but he battled his ass off.
He did his job.
4 1/3 inning, right? In 4 1/3 inning, he got out of at least 2 crucial jams. All right, bases loaded, nobody out. You know, and twice, right? And we got out of it. All right. But he threw 95 damn pitches. So you know what that tells me? You know what the Mets did? The Mets worked the count and showed patience.
Forget that. Where's the momentum shift in that? Like what you just said is perfect. Like you're talking about getting out 2 big jams. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And usually in baseball, when you gotta have a bases loaded, no out jam, you score. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like think about the momentum not even shifting even a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. We didn't take advantage of any opportunities that were given to us. You know?
Makes it even more pathetic, Tommy. I mean, it's the more you dive into it, the more you look into, you know, these situations. This wasn't a starting pitching problem, right? This wasn't a starting pitching problem.
No,
every one of our starters did their job. Every single one.
Yep.
They did their job. This offense is absolutely anemic right now and has been.
It's a lineup and bullpen problem. It's the lineup and the bullpen.
Correct.
They killed us. Absolutely killed us.
What do you say to this? What do you say to this? The poll.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. This is absolutely, I mean, don't get me wrong. That was a pretty shitty collapse of the Eagles, and we'll see how the rest of this season plays out for them. But no doubt, I mean, to win 95 games, to win the division, at one point we were 10 games up clear of everybody in the division. And yeah, you started to see it from June on. We were very inconsistent in the second half. And, you know, for a team that by and large was healthy for most of the season, for us to come up so woefully short is just unacceptable.
Luke, what do you say?
I agree too. And you brought it up in the very, very beginning about the landscape of Philadelphia sports. So I think it's bigger than even this poll. I think you can now officially group them in with, you know, the big 3. I'll kind of leave the Flyers out of this as we're in kind of a new era right now. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll leave them out of it. So
we're doomed there too.
Yeah. All right. But we'll pretend.
We're going to get the wrong Russian, right? We got the wrong Russian.
Yes. But really, when you think about it, at the end of the day, this team, just like the rest of them, really were who we thought that they were towards the end of it. And we were kind of ignoring it and saying, yeah, but whoever they might play, they're better than. And that was still true. But at the end of the day, they were who we all thought that they were. Same thing goes with the Eagles last year. Same thing goes with the Sixers pretty much every single year. But, you know, hopefully we turn a new stone. But that's just the way it is. And so now if last year wasn't enough for you and the World Series wasn't enough for you, I guarantee you 110% of Philadelphia Philly fans are on that wagon right now because that's what it's come down to. You failed. I see it in the comments. You failed at the deadline, and we were all clamoring over the fact that this team didn't need to make a move this summer because they were winning a bunch of regular season games, when in fact it was the same team pretty much that went out in that same battle that they experienced last year and failed. So now you got to look at it and kind of have a fire sale, not even to win a World Series, but you talk about this Red October. It ain't going to be that way if it doesn't happen and there's no change, because the Eagles are the Eagles, and I understand, they'll get a fan base no matter what, and same goes for the Phillies. In terms of that optimism and what really might come forward, you're not going to get it from anybody.
Well, maybe that's a good thing.
Red October, my ass.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. I mean, listen. I mean, when you look at their trajectory, there's two ways to look at it, right? If we want to talk about, and I want to get to all the comments here in a sec, right? Too. But if you want to talk about their trajectory as a team, it's gone south.
Yep.
Right. Everything they've done has gotten worse. Now, regular season wins have gone up. Postseason has gotten shorter. So it is tough. It is tough to figure out, like, man, you just want to play good baseball, right? So it's hard to say, like, well, we don't have to come out and get off to a hot start, and then you find yourself in trouble, right? Right. It doesn't matter at the beginning of the year, right? We just got to be hot at the end, right? But then you get yourself trouble there, and then maybe you never get hot. So it's like, I try not to get caught up in it, and I would think players don't either, right? Because when you talk about stepping across the lines and going out for a game, man, you don't get to this level if you ain't uber competitive for the most part, right? So I find this really hard to believe that, like, because they weren't playing good in the second half has anything to dictate how a team plays in the postseason. Like, I know what happens. I get it. I understand that teams get hot, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win a World Series that way, because your juice will run out. So I just think you need to be playing good enough baseball, right? I know they had a really rough patch, but when you look at after that really terrible run they had, right, they weren't terrible after that.
Yeah.
Like, their record wasn't terrible. So I'm not buying they were going in as the coldest team in the country. Like, stop it. That's us making excuses for them. I'm not in the business to make excuses for professional hitters who, one, most of them don't want to take anybody's advice anyway on anything. Hence why you see zero adjustments. Don't give me Kevin Long. Don't give me Rob Thompson. They have nothing to do with guys' approaches. That is on an individual. As a guy who talks hitting every day and just did it for 8 hours today, I can lead the horse to water. How thirsty are you? So and at this level, now you got egos involved. So guys are going to do what they do. And Trea Turner's a loser.
Yeah,
Trea
you
Turner's
always
a loser.
Hey, you always said, Tommy, you got to be strong up the middle, right? Well, look no further than the shortstop position in terms of coming up short. Because, man, I can't think of a guy who came up smaller than Trea Turner.
He couldn't hold Jimmy Rollins' jockstrap. And we crushed Jimmy around here.
We killed him.
Not me. I love Jimmy, but I got on him sometimes with his swing. But let's get into all the comments.
Yeah, when it counted in the postseason, you could guarantee he'd come through in the 8th inning on a huge hit.
Always did.
Yep.
Always did, though. Yeah. He always did. He says
he was the straw that stirred the fucking drink.
Yeah, and we don't have a straw here.
No.
Nope.
And I'll say, maybe I'll agree with Brian Wilson, and I never agree with Brian Wilson. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would have had a different opinion on this, right? Because when we first got Kyle Schwarber, I was not all about him leading off. All right, when we got
everything's
Trea Turner,
on the table now, right?
When we got Trea Turner, I felt like he should have led off. Now, after last year, I'm like, well, look at the record with Schwarber leading off. Like, I mean, maybe it's something to it.
We got to clip this. We got to clip this, by the way. You're agreeing with Wilson?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not even agreeing with it. I'm going back.
I hear you, though. I hear you,
back to what I originally felt. And what I originally felt is, like, you get Trea Turner, he leads off.
Correct.
And I don't know why he won it. So, whatever. That's not why we win, or that's not why we, lost this series. But Key says this is a trade deadline failure. Didn't do nearly as much as they should have. Hayes, ? Keeping Rojas instead of getting a consistent bat. Total offensive failure. I agree. Now, that being said, you're not winning and losing a World Series because of Austin Hayes or Johan Rojas. So this is because your money guys did not come to play. All right, now you want to talk about a failure in terms of the bullpen? I think so. I'll say it again. I don't know why you're going out and trading Sir Anthony. You want to get rid of Gregory Soto, please. I'll drive him. But I don't know why you're going to get rid of a bullet. Like, Hoffman was great. I know guys were good. But like now you're eggs in the basket just for Matt Strom's your go-to guy. Like, I don't know. To me, we were in the belief that we couldn't have too much back there, right? The more guys that we can have that can get big outs. With Sir Anthony, always had the history of being able to get himself out of jams, etc. He's pitched well for us in the postseason. I'm not saying that's why we lost, but we didn't go out and do much. We got Estevez. Okay, it's good, but how good is he? You know what I mean?
Wasn't good in the postseason.
Yeah, he's not I don't know if he's a dominant closer by any stretch.
Yeah.
Right? It's not Mason Miller.
Wasn't Mason Miller. Wasn't Mason Miller.
You bring 100 tonight in, 101, you know, that's off the end of the bat, boys. But, I mean, you guys.
And what did Tanner Banks do? Like, to the question, what did Tanner Banks do? That was your other move, right? You didn't go out and get a guy like Tanner Scott, right? Tanner Scott, who's pitching for San Diego right now. You went out and went cheap and got Tanner Banks. Now, again, that guy's not winning or losing you the series, but if you have a bullet like Tanner Scott in your bullpen as opposed to Tanner Banks, maybe Estevez isn't in this game in the 6th inning. Maybe it is Banks or Strom. You know what I mean? I just think the Estevez in the 6th inning was a strange move, especially coming in bases loaded. Like, that was just a strange move in itself. Why Hoffman started the inning, and then fine, you want to see if you can get through. As soon as he gives up the hit with a cookie cutter fastball to JD Martinez, get him out of the game. You're in a no-win situation bringing in any reliever in a bases loaded jam.
Well, if not that one, you get him out the next time somebody gets on, right? So it's like, you know, you want to give him some leeway to roll double play, right? You want to give a guy you trust. I get it. But once the second guy gets on,
once you hit, who do you hit? Marte then? Yeah, you hit Marte.
Yeah. And once you hit somebody, bro, hey, come on. I'm coming out to you. Like, this is 101 shit.
And I think by that point, he'd already spiked 2 balls to the back anyway.
But again, not the reason we lost the game.
Correct.
Like, if you don't hit, you don't win.
They scored 4 runs. They scored 4 runs. And they beat us.
Yeah. We scored 1 today, 2 yesterday that don't even count, essentially, right? Like, come on.
I'm pulling it up right now.
You ain't averaging, like, you know what I mean? You ain't.
Yeah, other than game 2, we didn't score more than 4 runs in a ball game.
No,
we scored 5 runs outside of game 2, where we scored 7.
Yep.
I didn't like getting rid of Reese Hoskins, and here we are. I'm just saying. I wasn't, when you heard about it, the leadership and, you know, some of the other things, I'm not saying he's not the same type of guy we have all throughout this lineup, right? I'm not saying that. Guy work counts. Guy had good at bats, right? Strikeout numbers might have been high, but guy saw pitches. He saw pitches. He did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we had Alec Bone who saw 5 pitches and 4 at bats yesterday.
Thank you, Alex, for a super chat. He said, "I'm so happy we don't have to watch Bone pound the dugout for 6 months." Bro, it's softer and soft.
Pound the dugout. Yeah.
I mean,
it's gotten weird.
It has. I mean, he had a great year, but I think, I don't know, man. I think when you sit, this is what I'm talking about, egos, right? You sit a guy down like that. Not everybody can handle it, bro. You got to know your personnel. I'm probably not sitting down my RBI leader or wherever he was. I'm probably not sitting that down when I'm not scoring runs. Like, that's just 101. I mean, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about all the rest. I don't care what happened after game 2. I'm going to talk about going into game 2. If we're just penciling guys in like we always do, why are we not penciling him in? Because he struggled down the stretch. So did a lot of guys. This is my point. Like, if there's bigger reasons why you're doing this, then okay. But if it's just because a guy was struggling or scuffling a little bit, you've seen him never have a problem with trusting your guys, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be mistaken, but he was first or second in RBIs. So with that offense not scoring runs, is that really what I want to do? Now, you went out and won that game. Okay. But did that hurt you in game 3? I don't know. Ask yourself that question. Because the guy comes up and swings the pitches that quickly, tells you what? Tells you one or two things. He's either a selfish prick or he's trying to do too much to prove something.
Yeah.
You can decide whatever you think that is. I can't answer that, but there are the two reasons.
That seemed to be the common theme of the at-bats throughout the whole team, right? Like I think we said I think we said on Sunday, right? Everybody wants to hit the 7-run homer that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
and you listen to Francisco Lindor, in interviews and post games and what's he talking about? He's talking about playing team baseball, right? Taking what the pitcher gives them, leaning and trusting on the guy behind him to do their job, right? Passing the baton. That's what these Phillies teams have done in the past, right? That's what made them so well is anybody from 1 to 9 could beat you. And throughout this year, we saw that. And then we didn't see it in the biggest moments. And it's the same thing that happened to us in the World Series, same thing that happened to us in the championship series last year, and then now here in the divisional series. The at-bats changed, and everybody wanted to hit the hero home run, even though it wasn't there.
Well, no, I hear you. It's a great point. And also, in the postseason, when the ball isn't flying out of the yard on you, you got to be able to play small ball. You got to be able to just put the ball in play, move runners over when you have to, and most importantly, get the damn runner in when you have a runner on third and less than 2 outs. And it was just very poor execution the whole way around.
The process of hitting is very simple. Hitting's hard. So when I say that is, you better have a goddamn approach. Because if you don't, you're screwed. So, like, we can sit here and talk the process of it and all that type of stuff if we wanted to get detail, which we don't. But I'll give you this. Like, we're talking about Alec Bowman. This could be a big turning point, too, and just what happened with this offense, right? Pre-hand injury, he's 290, right? An OPS of 804, on-base percentage of 343. After that, which, again, is only 16 games. That's like nothing. So how much is the hand still bothering him? Right, because he batted 150 in that stretch. But again, not a big sample size. We're talking 16 games. That's nothing. That's nothing. So, I just wonder if he doesn't get hurt, is this lineup better? Because he was that guy who was having great at-bats. He was that guy who was coming up with the big hits. He was that guy who wasn't trying to do too much, right? He was that guy in our lineup. When we talk about this postseason, he was a guy that we felt could have a big monster postseason.
Who was a key, yeah.
So, the struggles obviously translated into the field for him and et cetera again, right? And we've seen that happen before, but somebody said get rid of him, in the chat. Like, are you trying to get rid of a 26-year-old with an aging roster? I don't know if you want to do that one. I'm not happy with him.
Back-to-back 100 RBI seasons.
Yeah, like, I'm good with that stuff, bro. But, like, let's slow down. He's a younger guy still. Let's see if we can reel him back in, okay, and get him right. Because I don't know if that grows on trees. Yeah. So, contact guy, a guy not trying to hit 40, right? Like, they don't grow on trees. So that's just my opinion on it. I think in the moment of our frustration, we talk about moving on from everybody. Really, if you ask me who I would keep right now in this lineup, okay, I'm keeping Harper because you have to, obviously. I'm keeping Stott because he's, 25, 26 years old. I'm keeping Bohm because the same reasons. Okay? And Stott's a Gold Glove second baseman.
Gold Glove.
I'm keeping Nick.
Have to.
Because I just need the swagger. You know what I mean? Yeah. I need that type of swagger from this baseball team. So if you're asking me this is where it gets hard, right? Like, what am I trading? Am I trading Trea Turner? Like, I don't think you can break this up.
Moving to the outfield?
It's going to be hard to trade that contract.
Now you give him an off season, right? Obviously, in season, you don't do that, but he's a liability at shortstop at this point. One of your best prospects is a middle infielder. I don't know if Aiden can handle. I'm not saying you're bringing Aiden Miller up, but I'm saying one of your best prospects is a middle infielder at this point. I think he ultimately moves to third, but whatever.
He's playing third, isn't he?
Is he playing third? I thought he was doing both.
He might be. Who knows? They do stuff down there like that.
But we saw a World Series here. Bryce Harper can play shortstop at the major league level.
Absolutely.
Right? So even if Aiden Miller becomes a second baseman, but like the offseason is the time that have that conversation, right, with Trea Turner. Because it's a tough contract to get out of.
Yeah, you're not
and
getting
get
out
rid
of
of. But it is an absolute atrocity at this point.
No, you're not. Nobody's taking. I'm not saying I'm saying that, guys. Like, I don't know how you get out of it. I'm not saying you're trading them. So you're stuck with that one. Schwarber, you could probably move on from. But again, do you want to? Like, so I think instead of like, yeah, you're gonna have to do some things, right? You're probably like, are you gonna let Rojas be a center fielder? You're gonna let him go out and try to get a guy, right? That's what you have to do. Is Justin Crawford ready? Because I just make guys ready at this point. You understand me? Like I'm watching guys who are 23 years old have big at bats, right?
Yep.
Like I just make motherfuckers ready. You understand? Because if you can play, I'll say today, me and Greg and Noah have done this for years, Luke. If you can play, you can fucking play. I don't care if you're 18, 21, will you have your ebbs and flows? Of course. But if you can play, you're going to show us. So go let Justin Crawford be your everyday center fielder. Move Trea Turner to your leadoff spot. Put Kyle Schwarber in a power position. Just try it. What's the worst that happens to you? Then you come out and your lineup just looks like it's more put together because you can't move on from stuff right now. Yep. Right? So what you can do is go get high leverage. I've said this for years now. If you look at the Houston Astros, you got to go get pellets. You need 1 million pellets. That's how you win, especially with an offense that may struggle or etc. Mm-hmm. If you have guys that can come out of there and it's not easy to find either, right? But if you got to go add things to this bullpen that I think isn't terrible, even though the postseason said it was, all right? But they're also coming in the freaking 6th inning of a game, right? So, I mean, I'm not let's call it what it is. In weird spots, I still need guys to get outs. You know, Hoffman was used so much this year. Did he have anything left in the tank at this point? Because that's the problem. When you don't have enough.
Especially to go multiple innings, too, right? So you got the 2 outs. Thanks, Jeff. We're going to go to the next guy.
Exactly.
Like if you're looking at tonight's game, right? Like
if you're saying guys are available, Greg, to your point, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and not to mention, when was just Jeff Hoffman getting warmed up? He was hot, as Sweet said in our group chat. Jeff Hoffman was hot and ready to come in at 1 o'clock this afternoon. He got up in the 1st, he got up in the 3rd, and ultimately came in the 5th. So how many times how many bullets did he throw in the bullpen and then come out and try and go 2 innings with the guy? You get the 2 outs, you come out of the jam. Awesome, you did your job. If you're bringing in Estevez in the 6th, let him create his own problem.
Yeah, I don't
know. I would have much rather have Strom in that 6th inning or anybody else instead of Estevez because I wanted Francisco Lindor right-handed. I didn't want Lindor left-handed.
Why would they allow that? That's where I'm confused. If you're a matchup king, then I'm gonna go swing him around. I'm gonna swing me around, baby. Spin me around, a little Morgan Wallen up in here. Right, because I'm spinning you around tonight, girl, because you are not batting left-handed when the base is goddamn loaded with no outs. Are we okay? Again, not why we lost. But who knows? Who knows? If you somehow keep that game 1-0 still, or it's 1-1, it's not like they were up 1-0.
Yeah.
Who knows? I feel like we were playing this like we were down.
Even though we were up.
It's weird, man. I don't know. You can Monday morning quarterback everything, but you can't Monday morning quarterback like, why are you putting him in with the bases loaded? Yeah. Why are you letting Strom sit down and then rewarm himself back up again for the 4th time? Like, they're the things that you just can't have happen. And
although Estevez has made his way through the end of the year, he didn't miss a lot of bats. He was a high contact guy throughout the rest of the end of the season. And so you're putting that guy in a bases loaded jam as opposed to trying to get someone to get some swing and miss. You know, I mean, I know Alvarado shitted on himself in game 3, but you need somebody who's got some swing and miss stuff. Estevez, he, again, wasn't terrible, but he found a lot of bats throughout his time here with the Phillies.
He did not miss. He did not miss a lot of barrels. But that's got to be a point of emphasis, right? I mean, so when you're looking about like rebuilding it, I mean, not rebuilding it, but retooling it, because they're not going to move on from this. Mm-hmm. They still have a tiny, tiny window here, right? Because it's not like they're like 40, right? No. So you still have a window to go win one. So I mean, I'm not out on them. I mean, I'm out on them, but there needs to be I'm out on them right in this moment. But you fast forward me 2 months, I can tell you how we can win it. Right? I can start to tell you what you need to do here. As a baseball fucking guy, I'm trying to tell you, I don't have all the answers, but these are simple little solutions. Hey, Justin Crawford is up tomorrow. Like I call him tonight. Hey, Justin, what are you doing? You're up playing center field tomorrow. You're on row sticks. Okay, we'll use him as an 8th inning guy. Come in, play left field for us, right, in a small park, and go cover a shit on the ground. All right, that's what I'll do, and I'll get better defensively out there. This is 101. You don't know what do you owe Johan Rojas another opportunity to swing it when you got a guy who's probably the same age as him, ready to go. So don't you start talking clocks with me and all this other shit, stupid money. You know what I mean? Don't you start clocking.
Well, there's the incentive now. There's the incentive in the MLB now. You don't have to worry about the clock. If you bring the guys up, and especially if they win a rookie of the year, you get an extra pick and a first rounder, I think. Isn't that what Seattle got for Julio? Like, there's the incentive of pulling these guys up.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I will still stand by. The Mets and the Knicks were not better.
No.
Can't convince me. They're not better. They won. Cool story. Go get torched by the Padres.
Yeah, get Diddy's lube ready. Get the baby
Diddy's
oil
lube ready. Padres are going to bend you over.
Oh, baby. I mean,
I won't watch because I just refuse to watch anything New York related. But they're not better. They weren't better. And the Knicks were not better. And the Knicks still aren't better, even with Cat.
I think the Knicks might have been.
Shut your mouth.
I think they might have been better.
They weren't better.
They might have been better.
Team.
This team is definitely not better. This team is definitely not better, though, for sure.
Look, let's look at it this way. As long as you have Nola and Wheeler in your rotation, you have Harper in your lineup, you're always going to have a chance. And I really, I think, is the window as wide open as it was 2 years ago? No, but I think there's still at least a 2 or 3 year window, and we damn well better get at least one chip out of this.
I'll say this. Yo, what up, Dennis? Phillies doing Philly shit. Hit the ball, Tommy. That's it. Put the ball in play. Contact's king. Good at bats are a great time. Not being scared to hit with 2 strikes is a great time.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that
shortening up and going oppo.
Oh, I mean, the greatest hitter of all time. Like I brought my guys in for this the other night because I said, guys, the best hitter of all time, who just passed away.
The Fox video? Did you watch the Fox video?
Yeah, and it brought me
back.
Oh,
it's the best video ever.
The best one.
The best video ever.
Frank Thomas and A-Rod are like, what? Why did nobody ever tell me that?
And they're great hitters themselves.
Great hitters. So he's just talking about moving around in the box, choking up with 2 strikes. Like your swing's not going to change. Like anybody trying to change your swing at this level, no, they're not. So you change. Are you late on a guy? Are you early on a guy? Like the greatest hitters of all time, and I say this to hitters, grow to have the ability to adjust pitch by pitch, which is not easy to do. That's why they're the best. You understand? And they're super talented. But you get where I'm going with this. Good hitters adjust a bat to a bat. Fucking terrible hitters don't adjust. Paging the Philadelphia Phillies. Because that's what it looks like. And even Harp, like, listen, he's had a monster postseason. But last night, that's a monster AB. First and second, nobody out. Like, you're flailing at stuff. You're flailing at a goddamn spinner that literally hit your dugout.
Yeah.
Like, so, again, you're not going to be perfect in this game. Right? You're not. And when you talk about, like, the pitchers or the bullpen or any of that stuff, when you don't hit, man, you can see it. Guys were spiking balls all over the place. Why? Because their buttholes are so clenched up, so clenchy, that they're gripping too tight. You're talking about the best guys doing this shit. This was never getting back to Philly. His lineup was dead. And even you would think after game 2. Nope. So
well, it's because they're swinging at everything in the ballpark. The pitch, you got to be selective up there. You got to make the pitcher throw your pitch. And I can't tell you how many balls we swung that were well out of the strike zone. And that's why we're not moving on.
Well, we hated Gabe Kapler. We say this I say this like once a week, I feel like. But the
Yeah.
greatest thing he ever said was selectively aggressive. Like, you have a red zone. like what? Like, you're the best of the best guys. You have an MLB The Show red zone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what your red zone is. I understand this is not easy to hit. I understand it. But it's a lot easier to hit when you're at the level and you've been successful at the level, okay? And we ain't going to go in the box and do this, right? But at that level, you're used to it. So you know what your zone is. So the only way you go out of your zone, Greg, again, either if you're a selfish fucking piggy or you're trying to do too much.
Yep.
So I'm not going to say this team had no fight. I'm not going to say this team had no quit. This team had 0 adjustments. Again, it's not about fight. It's a good locker room. Let's not act like this is like a cancerous locker room and a bunch of quitters, right? Come on, let's not do that now, right? And I'm in hatred mode right this minute, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is weird coming from you.
No, I'm just saying, like, let's not act like this. You right that this is all doom and gloom on what we had. This is a terrible loss, right? Horrendous, an epic failure, right? But I'm saying let's not create lies on what kind of group it is. So I'm not going to say they quit. Like, that's not fair. But was there a lack of discipline, a lack of focus? Those things are real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you talk, right, like the red zone, right? That first swing on that at bat with against Manaea, right? So he threw you a changeup. You were hoping fastball, and you swung out of your shoes. That's what you should do in a first pitch, right?
Yeah.
But you have to know, to your point, you have to know what's coming there, right? You have to know what's coming next. He's not going to give you a pitch to hit. You're probably not seeing a strike again. You had done a great job for most of the series of understanding when you were getting a pitch to hit versus when you were not getting a pitch to hit and how you work those at bats. For the most part, you did a really good job. But that was the pivotal at bat of the series and of that game 3, and he failed miserably. And then you look on the other side, Francisco Lindor does not miss that fastball. Right? You look over on the other series, Fernando Tatis hasn't missed a ball all series.
No, pretty good.
Shohei Ohtani does not miss a fastball down or change up down the middle. Right? I mean, you talk about the superstars that showed up, and I get called a poster boy all the time, right? But in the moment where you needed it, he didn't come up. And it wasn't even a productive at bat, right? You need to go yard there. I don't need you to go yard. I need you to pull something to the right side. Fly ball, put the ball in play, poke a ball to the right side, right? Have a better at bat than 3 flaily swings and back to the dugout.
Yeah, and it trickles down, right? Bad at bats become contagious.
Yeah,
it's weird, dude. Baseball's weird, and yeah, J Love says if you lose in the playoffs, it's because the team's better. No, you lose. You can lose the teams that are not as good as you because they're playing better. Like, baseball is funky. Baseball's not like other sports, right? Like, you catch a little fire, you could be dangerous. Now, again, that being said, I didn't think the Mets were dangerous. They shouldn't have been for us, and I am wrong for that. I'll hold myself accountable, but I didn't fucking play.
Yeah.
And if you
That's
ran
why
that series,
you can call me crazy. You can call me crazy, and I know I'm not the biggest baseball guy on here, but that's what I was saying earlier, where this sent me over to where I'm not going to hear shit in August and care about where they are. That's what I'm saying. So, like, they could play 162 games. This was the point for me where now I don't care one bit. And I know that sounds stupid, and I'm waiting until the postseason because I've seen it too many times now. They are now in that group of Philly sports teams now, which is weird to say because it felt like they were the sweetheart of all the 4 teams, but now they're not.
There is a silver lining. I am glad that finally this young group of fans, Luke, that would be you, are starting to finally feel some of the heartbreak that us old timers have felt for our entire lives. Because for the most part, you guys have began your fandom with some winning-ish sports throughout the city. And finally, I hate to put that on you guys, but finally you're starting to feel our pain, and it does bring a little joy to my mind right now.
A couple things too, right? A couple things. This is the first team in Major League Baseball to reach 50 wins this year. They were 61-32 in their first 93 games, which was the best in baseball. They sent 8 players to the All-Star game. That's a franchise record. 34-35 in their last 69 regular season games, right? So that's where you're at. So, I mean, you're not winning. That being said, you're not going to win 120 games. But can you be 10 games over 500 instead of 1 game under 500 in that stretch, right? And you're at like 105? Okay. Then you're going and playing good enough. So I think injuries took place a little bit here too. When you talk about you lost JT for some time. And
I think to your point,
Tommy, their pitching, I feel like a little bit.
Yeah,
I
Ranger got hurt a bit. Alec Boehm was hurt a bit. Yeah,
and I think that
all adds up.
The organization get gunshot, right?
That was weird.
Because you heard after we got the division, it was all about health, and that's all teams do that, right? But like they kept making a note, like a mention of it, right? All we care about is health. All we care about is health. Well,
yeah, I don't know why that became a thing.
Yeah, I feel like it made him gunshot, right? It made him gunshot. It kind of pressed through to the end of the year and kind of punt those final games, and who knows if that was part of what transpired, right?
The only thing I'll say to what John's saying, though, and Luke, like, I get it if you're not a diehard baseball guy.
Yeah.
But like John, like, all due respect, but like, I'm going to be invested early. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm just not. I can't operate like that.
Yeah.
So will I have it in my head, like with the Sixers, in a way, like, oh, here we go, like it'll be something early, yeah, a little bit, until a team proves you wrong. But like, if they're playing good baseball again, however this roster's constructed, like, people are gonna buy in. I'm not like, we have short memories, but long ones in a way too. So like, I don't know, like, we're just gonna have our reservations, but I don't think, even with the Sixers, I mean, come on, we can have our reservations all we want. If they come out and they look awesome, we're gonna be bricked up around here. So like, we can say that all we want to say, that like, we know it's coming, so we're not gonna get as deep into it. Yes, we will. John, you're gonna be all over the Facebook group yelling and screaming about them a month, and if they're not playing well, because no matter what we say, we're still invested. We're still going to be invested. We just might think like, okay, we know what's coming. I don't know.
We're fans. You know what I mean?
We are.
Eileen, so far so good down here. I don't know if you're still in here. So far so good. Overnight's going to be dicey, so we'll see what happens.
I'm just going to be very annoying to do shows with during that time. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to talk you down all day long now. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm not the baseball junkie like you. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But I get where you're coming from.
But what happens if they're playing great baseball? Like,
that's what I'm going to be saying. I'm going to be like, they did. Okay, let's see. Just like the Eagles. I'll do the same thing. After a big win in Green Bay, I'm going to predict them to lose to Tampa. I'm going to predict them to lose to all those teams. Same thing.
Cleveland.
Little spoiler.
Do you really have them losing? You don't have.
I don't know what to think from this football team.
Do you have them losing, Luke?
I wouldn't put it past
at home. At home after a bye,
we better beat the Browns at home, especially with the Browns.
I didn't mean to be the one to
line and Deshaun Watson looking like complete shit.
Did you just watch what happened tonight?
Who, me?
No. So I just want to go back to Faith again, because I just I'm actually gonna contradict myself, right? Like,
all right, go ahead.
We know what we're getting. We're gonna get some type of failure. Like, we're on Sunday, we're gonna get some type of failure.
Yes.
In some fashion. We might win the game, but we're gonna get some type of failure. Like we might win the game,
agree.
and Jalen throws 3 fucking picks. Like we're getting failures on the way.
No, we're gonna go right. We're gonna take the ball. We're gonna go right down the field. It'll be
First time we
Sean
score.
Watson
First time we score.
might throw 4 picks.
first time down the field, and
I'd be more nervous if Cleveland announced they're playing Jameis. I'd be more nervous at that. They're playing Jameis.
I can't be mad at that take.
Do we know who's starting?
Yeah, they're starting Watson. Yeah.
By the way, 105 people watching on YouTube. There's only 33 likes. If you're pissed off about the Phillies, if you're happy about the Phillies, please pound that like button for us. And while you're there, hit the subscribe.
Jesse nailed
So
it.
what massage parlor is Watson going to visit while he's in town?
I don't know. Tell us what's around.
We're a good one, Noah.
Where's Winston going to walk out with some crab legs or whatever the hell he stole 10 years ago? Oh, Christ.
It was definitely crab legs.
Yeah. Wow. What a gem of a guy. What a gem of a guy.
I actually find him hilarious. I actually find him hilarious. Like when you hear him talk and you hear him in different scenarios. I find Jameis Winston to be an absolute hero.
Oh, yeah. He's a clown. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a complete clown. And he plays it. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe he can throw strikes. He used to pitch. Maybe we could put him in our bullpen.
I don't hate it. Maybe call up Russell Wilson. He's not playing anytime soon.
Yeah, Russ ain't playing.
Oh, man.
Oh, it'll be an interesting offseason. It'll be interesting offseason for sure. I'm still trying to
say the least.
I'm still trying to process what just happened. But I know Don's all bricked up over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just think they need to get better in the back of the end of the lineup. Just from watching, I'll leave this to you guys, but I turn on a Yankees game afterwards. And sure, there's always a lot of pressure on guys like Judge and Soto to get on base. But it's like, even if they don't, I still feel like with the next due-up, they have a shot with guys like Verdugo and Volpe and Jazz Chisholm, like batting behind them. Whereas they look at the Phillies, it's like, okay, here comes Brandon Marsh, who's 0 for his last 30, and Cody Clemens, and they're trying to give him a shot. And here's Sosa off rhythm. He's got to come up and have it's just you don't have faith in any of them. And at some point, it's like then this goes back to Schwarber leading off. It felt like every single time he was the third at bat. Every single time it would go 8-9-1. I think that happened like 3 times today. There would be nobody on. It's just like. Again, that goes back to where are your adjustments? Like, what do you expect to change if you're not going to change anything yourself?
Well, if you're swinging from the back of your fucking heels, it's hard to make contact, and this team certainly didn't make enough contact in this series.
Nope, status quo.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Judge is playing like crap, and the Yankees are still up in the playoff series. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, of course, guys aren't showing up, but I think specifically if you look for what they need, that's what they need. Because then you get Bryce up there swinging a crap, and Nick and all those, they're chasing. The guys behind him aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, D. Slayer, for the super chat. So since the format changed in the first round bye, is it a curse? I'm not saying that's the reason they lost, but maybe the wild card they can get in rhythm like past seasons. Yeah, but what's the reason they stopped hitting in the Arizona series? What's the reason they stopped hitting against Houston? I mean, we could run it back the way we did. It doesn't mean that's always the recipe. I'm not saying it's not. I don't get caught up in it. Like, I think too many people get caught up in it. And I think when you make it a thing, it becomes a thing. But it's really not a thing. It's fucking 5 days. It's like, right? Isn't it like 5 days?
Yep.
It's not.
I don't think it's necessarily the rest, right? I don't think it's necessarily the rest. It's just the fact that you're having one team coming off the play-in and one team not. Right? I do think it's becoming a thing. Like potentially no first round bye. Well, maybe the Yankees. The Yankees look like to be the only team that's getting a first round bye that's going to go to the next round. And it's not, like you said, it's not an excuse, right? We lost because we lost. This isn't like,
we lost because of our terrible approach at the plate.
We were rusty. There was no rust. They just weren't there. But I think there has to be I don't want to say it. There has to be a reason and a benefit to winning the division.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. That's why what I'm saying.
Best of three. It's best of three, right? So my buddy at work gave me this idea. Best of three. First game's a doubleheader. Like game one is doubleheader, or day one's a doubleheader. You got to play a doubleheader. And if you win two, then you get an off day. If not, game three is the next day, and then you play the next day, right? Like it puts them at a disadvantage because they're the wild card team, per se. You know what I mean? So, like the New York would have had to go on that Tuesday to to Milwaukee, and if they would have split the doubleheader, then they play Wednesday, and then our series started on Thursday, right? So there's things to do that puts the wild card team, who, if they're making it on a wild card team, has been playing playoff games.
They had to play a doubleheader on.
Well, this year
doubleheader that Monday because of the rain or whatever in Atlanta. They had to play a doubleheader just to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, this year's an anomaly. Yes, because of that.
Right. I mean, there's no excuses.
It's
bottom
interesting.
line is
it didn't affect us.
No, I know.
I'm not using that as an excuse for us.
Right. We just came up woefully short. The at-bats were so poor. The pitch selection was so poor. We didn't make Manaea or Quintana or whatever garbage they threw out there. We didn't make them throw our pitch that we were comfortable hitting. We just went after their junk for basically the entire series, and it killed us. It cost us, and that's why our season's over. I mean, you can, like we all alluded to earlier, the bullpen just couldn't get it out. They had, you get a guy, you get Liz 2 strikes on Lindor or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, it's flying out of the yard. You just can't have that and expect to move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's only so many jams you're going to escape. There's only so many times you're going to be put behind the 8 ball and be able to crawl out of it. And we just couldn't crawl out of it tonight.
Or all series.
That's why, right. And that's why we're going home. I mean, we crawled out of it game 2. That was it. But when you put yourself behind the 8 ball, when you fall behind, when you have poor at-bats, when your bullpen can't get outs, and our starting pitching was good, but let's face it, aside from Wheeler, our starting pitching was not able to go deep into games. All right. And it hurts you. And our bullpen got absolutely exposed. When you have to go to the pen in the 5th inning or what have you, it really hurts. And we obviously
I'm not putting this.
We didn't have enough.
They did their job. It's playoff baseball.
No, for the most part, I hear you.
You constructed this bullpen to thinking you had at minimum 7, 8, 9 locked in.
Yes.
So if you got to come into the 6th, if you got to use those interim guys in the 5th and 6th, then that's it. But you had in your mind at the deadline when you brought in Estevez, you had 7, 8, 9 locked in between Strom, Hoffman, and Estevez. And that leaves you the other guys, Ruiz, Alvarado, right? It was usually other guys for that 5th and 6th. But I'm not putting this. Yes, Wheeler was amazing. I'm not putting this on Sanchez, and I'm not saying you were either. But the fact that the starting pitching
Sanchez,
did their job. Starting pitching did their job.
Yeah,
you go 5 innings in a playoff game,
no doubt,
that's enough. Especially giving up,
I would,
giving up the runs that they did. Sanchez
6 or 7 would 6 or Yeah, 6 or 7 would be nicer, but no, I hear you. Sanchez, for lack of postseason experience, he did a nice job. And with as far as Ranger tonight, he battled his ass off. There's no doubt about it.
The plan to go Sanchez too actually did work out. We just didn't make it work out. We didn't make it work out, right? And that's because of our offense. That's because of our offense.
Definitely.
Sanchez was really good at home.
Totally agree.
And you knew, and you thought he was going to be. That's why you make that move. And you had Nola, and he struggled in that 5th inning, and that's not necessarily him. And sometimes it is, right? But again, it goes back to in the games we've lost, we scored 2 runs, 1 run.
Right, and that's why none of us
and that's just not going to get it done.
No, and none of us were the biggest Rob Thompson fans coming into this. And if you told me his first round exit, I would definitely say he needed to go. I don't know you could really do that. None of these losses were really his fault.
He's gone to me.
No,
to me,
I think if you do that, it's more so
because
of a change of scenery. I think it's more so because of a change of scenery than he costed you another playoff run. Like, I don't think he held this team back too much.
I don't think he did either, and I would give Rob at least one more year.
But we've gotten worse. We've gotten worse.
Yeah, no, I support
the regular season.
Regular season, we've gotten better. Playoffs, we've gotten worse.
Right, postseason got worse. I mean, really, what needs to change is the approach at the plate. I mean, you gotta. These hitters gotta know when you can go for the 3-run homer and when it's time to just put a ball in play and pass the baton, or find a way to get on base. Like when you have junk ball throwers, like a lot of the Mets starting rotation, really it's a matter of being patient up there and waiting for your pitch, which they failed to do this entire series. You know, they were just they were swinging at everything and anything out of the zone, and well, that's why we're going home.
Yeah, and it felt like when they were flailing and swinging away, it felt like that those balls were balls from the arm, right? Like
correct.
It felt like that they weren't even close.
Oh, some of those pitches were 3 feet out of the strike zone.
Some of the pitches Turner was flailing out all series weren't even strikes from release. Like when you watch videos of the overlays, you just realize how tough hitting is, right? And I know Tommy talks about it all the time, like how tough hitting is. But you know what a ball is a ball from the arm. Like those balls should be easy.
Of course.
And we got a lineup full of guys that just love swinging at them.
Yep. It's because they're swinging from their heels. They're going for the 3-run homer. Sometimes you got to know when it's okay to take a walk, when it's okay to, move a runner over. Move them over, get them in.
It's an interesting
just all those
from Tom.
Go ahead.
Dom Vito. Would you sign Bregman to play third? Seems like a perfect Philly. No, I don't hate the name. Yeah, I just think he's old, and he's played a lot of baseball. And you saw the tenure as the end of the year in Houston. And I also don't think I'm moving on from Bohm, as Tommy, listed reasons why you don't move on from Bohm. I don't sign another. I don't sign another aging veteran. If I'm going to open up a hole at third base, I'm just going to plug Ian Miller in there and call it a day. That's me.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope Alec Bohm stops fucking pouting though.
It's getting weird. Brian, we need Anthony Santander. Ooh, I like Tony Taters. Little switch hitter. It's going to be interesting to see if I don't think they would Baltimore re-sign him just because you have all those young outfielders when you look at Kowser, Kerstead, you know what I mean, and all those young guys. Anthony Santander is not a bad name. I mean, there's one huge name out there. There's one huge name out there. It's going to be out there, and it's do you go all in? Do you go all in for Juan Soto?
I don't see that happening.
Yes.
After this postseason, 1,000%.
Yes. Sign me up.
And it kind of ties into too many white guys. Give me a Latin star.
Don't get me started.
He's not wrong.
Don't get me started. I mean, I feel like we were the last organization to put a guy in Latin America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, we were like, George
We
Washington.
talked about this for years, Tommy.
Yeah,
right?
like George Washington found America. We came 100 years later. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we found it. Like, guys, it's been around for 100 years. You know what I mean? That's us in Latin America. Like, I feel like we'd never. I mean, homegrown, developed Latin-born players. Phillies history.
Bobby Abreu.
I thought he originally. Did we draft Abreu, or I thought he was drafted?
I'm just trying to think.
I thought he was drafted
Chooch?
by Arizona,
Chooch?
Tampa Bay, or Houston.
There you go.
Chooch, yeah.
Panamanian maniac.
I like Teoscar Hernandez. I would go after Teoscar Hernandez too, for sure.
Yeah, it's not a bad name.
I mean, that's a right-handed bat that you would love to have. So
that's the only downfall with Soto, and I'm not saying it's a downfall, right? But like you're plugging him into a
Rob.
Yeah, it is. He probably sit him. He probably platoon him and Nick.
Yeah. What's up, Robert? Thanks for the super chat, brother. He said, "What's up, fellas? Let me just say that this team is undisciplined. Student reflect leadership, and our poor at bats are a reflection of what they're being taught. We need Soto."
Ooh.
See, I think that's the only part of that that's unfair is that's what they're being taught. You don't get to this level without doing things a certain way that you like to do them. The only thing I say would be maybe taught at the big league level or on your way up is losing some more baseballs. But I'm not going to say that their poor ABs come from Kevin Long. He has a track record of being really good at what he does.
Yeah,
so
some guys trying to put it on K Long, and I don't know that I do.
That's weird. That's weird to me. That's a cop out.
Yeah,
cop out, man. That's like
so he's telling Trea Turner to flail with balls in the dirt.
So like if my guy goes out and doesn't hit well, if a lesson I have goes out and doesn't hit well, is that a reflection of me?
Yeah.
If my lesson goes out and hits well, is that a reflection of me? I'm asking the question because both of those answers are no.
Right.
You understand what I just said right there? If a guy goes out and goes 4 for 4 and I hit with, that ain't my credit. That's his. He's got to go do it. It's the same for everybody. We ain't teaching something. We ain't teaching a Rubik's Cube. So it's the same. So the guy who goes and translates it, that's on him. And at that level, holy shit.
Yeah.
If you're going to put $500 million in my lap for guys being unsuccessful, then I want a pay raise.
Yeah, I mean, you want to
fire me. I want $100 million a year. If I'm getting the blame for it.
Yeah. If you would have crushed K Long for, the likes of like a Stotty taking a step back, Marsh maybe taking a step back, Rojas not developing anything. All right, fine. But again, when your lineup is loaded with $100 million guys and they're not the ones leading the way, it doesn't matter what those guys do anyway.
I shouldn't say this in the business I'm in, but Sweep says it. I've said it for years, and you see it as more as you go on. You can hit or you can't. I mean, we can fine tune you, make you look good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but like we're talking about a Rojas. Like you can hit at this level or you can't.
No, I was just saying like the younger players not taking that step, right? Like
no.
What happened with I mean, Rojas, you're right, is that extreme, but like what happened with Stotty, right? We were all hoping it was gonna be a batting champ type of year, right? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, we were all sitting around here hoping he'd hit 300 or better. And what did he ended up hitting 240 for the regular season, give or take?
Yeah, I mean Marshy had a career
not even.
Marshy had a career high in home runs, but that still wasn't over 20. and he batted 249, right? You know?
Yeah, but also both guys getting platoon, not playing every day. That shit matters when you're talking about consistency. So, I mean, the one guy who took a step forward was Alec Bohm before the postseason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's guys who, you know, whatever. When you lose, it's on everybody.
Yep.
My starting center fielder, Don, would be Justin Crawford, but they're probably not going to do that. So, I don't know.
It just kills me that we couldn't extend the series to Friday and with Wheeler ready to go. I think that's the biggest disappointment of all. You know, it's so disappointing we couldn't get it back to the bank, because I have no doubt, obviously, that place would have been rocking, and I have no doubt we would have won that ball game. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's over.
Brian, you turned into that, but he wasn't that throughout the first 2 years of his career in Stott, right? Stott this year took an unexpected step back. And maybe people just figured out how to pitch him differently and raise the level of fastball, because it seemed like everything he was swinging at was up near the belt, right? It was up above at the top of the zone. But he wasn't a hacker through the first 2 years of his career. He was one of the few guys in the lineup that grinded out at bats, that we loved because he grinded out at bats.
He did.
Now, Turner, he is an absolute hacker. He turned into a hacker.
No. KZ, I never said trade Bryce. So, I mean, we're not doing this tonight.
Here's what we need. Here's what we need.
I like that. That'll get me interested. I'll watch games right away in March.
Yeah, right. Just give some Eagles predictions and get out of here, Tommy. It's getting kind of dicey down here. I got to bail soon.
I've been ready to go to bed for 45 minutes. So
Don, don't tease me with a good time, Don.
Oh, let's not do this again.
Don, don't tease me with a good time, baby. Give me some Bauer adage, baby. Hell, we could have signed him and added him to the postseason roster. He could have been the fifth starter the last month of the year. Maybe we wouldn't have to be the 2 seat.
I'm disgruntled. 28-21 Browns.
They're winning outright?
I don't know. I'm trying not to put the two teams together right now. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to, but I'm just like in that
I'm
mode.
definitely taking the 9. I guarantee. I know that. I'm taking the 9. I mean, I'm 24-21 Eagles.
Okay.
I'll switch my thing. I'll go 28-21 Eagles. I won't put them in the Phillies category yet. I'll give them a week.
I'll go with a weird 19-17.
Ooh.
We sneak one out. But I do think, especially that Salah's gone now, and you can call me crazy, I'm tired of pretending like there's any hope or any chance they do anything with anybody. I would almost rather them just lose this game just so they can have an excuse to do it. And I can pretend like there's a chance of anything. That's how bad.
I just bring him in as the DC.
Well, what's funny is that I think Fangio would probably act as the interim head coach, which is crazy to think about. But
yeah, hey, Brian, what?
Yeah, Robert, you're not wrong there. Just one inning, you just need the bust throw.
Yeah,
one inning, you just need the bust throw.
That's it, brother. That's all you needed.
Oh. Robert fouls up. Browns win. Nick is gone. You can't hate it.
KZ's talking statement game against the worst team in the NFL. That's how you know. It ain't good.
It ain't good, man.
I will say, we mentioned this before, right? The next 4 games, in theory, are you should be 3-1, right? You should be 3-1, if not 4-0 in the next 4 games. You go home Browns at Giants. Now Giants, I'll be there, so they're gonna have to overcome that. And then on the road, Cincy, and I forget the 4th game. Cincy's the only one though that gives you pause, right?
They're losing that game. They are losing that game.
It's possible for sure.
I mean, they just can't get a lead up on anybody. I don't know. I'm not confident against anybody.
James, I hope not, because I want the 49ers just to die. I want them to go away and their fraud head coach. We got a lot of frauds being exposed. Cleveland, Giants, Cincy, Dougie P. 2 home, 2 away. That Cincy game is the only one to me up in the air. And very well, to your point, Luke, could very well be a loss.
I'll go 2-2 just because I don't know what the second one they'll lose. I just have that little faith in him running the show and the discipline of this team. So I'm going to go. I can't pick it. And maybe you're right. Maybe it is for you.
If this team,
front row seat in New York.
To your point, though, if this team is who we think they are and who they think they are, this has got to be a 3-1 stretch coming out of the bye. At minimum. At least. At minimum. It cannot be a 2-2 stretch.
Totally.
Cannot.
I mean, we're also thinking about like the last time AJ was on this team, they did just beat what was seen and what pretty much is a pretty, above average team in the NFL in Green Bay. So like he hasn't played since then, and he is a top 5 receiver in football. I'll debate that with anybody. That is a huge addition to anyone's team, especially ours. And Devontae and Lane are banged up or whatever. That'll help. But even with those guys, I can't trust the guy. I cannot do it. I refuse to let myself do it.
Yeah, I don't trust anything right now. So they're in approval mode for me.
Oh snap! So. Don says the roof at Tropicana Park is gone.
Yes, it is gone.
Holy crap!
Or a big piece of it came off. So no bueno there.
Yeah, no bueno, but that park's no bueno. I mean,
They probably wanted it to get blown away, honestly. They probably should.
They are building the new one. It's just not going to be ready for a while.
Yeah.
I think they're talking 27, 28.
There's not many people that went to their games anyway, play at Baycare Ballpark in Clearwater or whatever they call it.
I do want to let it be known I was definitely right about Devin White, and I was also definitely right about Washington.
Yeah.
That's a
well, let it be known that if Jalen can't get rid of the damn ball and we can't block and tackle a little better, we're not going to win too many more games this year. I mean, I think we escape and end up beating the Browns at home, but we have a lot of shit to work on, and can we have one game where Jalen doesn't turn the ball over, where Jalen doesn't hang on to the ball for 50 years? I mean, damn it. Know when to check it down sometimes.
Track record is going to say no. But James, appreciate the comment, brother.
Learn how to read a defense.
Thank you. He said, by the way, you guys are great. I'm no Philly fan, but appreciate the show. Thank you, James. Appreciate that, brother. Look,
I saw you
brag.
And he was also trying to get me and you hype earlier with Penn State. And
I did see that.
That ain't happening either.
At
least we have Penn State. At least we don't.
I'll tell you what, I think
I
think the Nittany Lions go out to LA and rip the Trojans a new asshole.
Oh. Give me the ACC refs that have gifted Miami 2 wins, and I'm in. That's a joke.
I'm not with that at all. I think the only 2 reasons that they have the number 4 ranked team in the country next to their name is because they have a good fan base and they host a whiteout game. Other than that, I can name 25 teams that are better than them. One of them being USC, so that'll be fun.
I don't know about 25. I don't know.
I just don't. It's just like
I agree that they're overrated. I agree that they're not a number 4 team.
It's the same thing every year. And I was there for the Illinois game. Illinois stinks. They should have won by 3 touchdowns.
Yes, 100%.
They're not that good.
Oh man, I hope you didn't bet them to cover.
No, I'm not that stupid. I'm not that stupid.
Good man. Play the money
Joe's
line.
ridiculous.
Play the
My
money
husband-
line.
Phillies.
Play-
There ain't no money line when it's minus 19.
Play the money line. It's
There ain't no
safer.
money line at minus
I
19.
hear
It's
you,
not
I hear
available.
you. Well, you know, at least
you're not
you're
winning
not,
any
at least we're not Alabama, you know, and lost to Vandy. Woo.
Yeah, that's this past weekend was bonkers.
Yeah. Oh, yo, imagine if you took a parlay, right? And you took Vandy and Arkansas on the money line. Woo, whatever asshole did that made out like a bandit.
Arkansas was definitely available because they were only 13. I don't know that Vandy would have been available because it probably
What, on the money line?
Yeah, because it was over. Once it gets over a certain point, they're not even available.
I think they were over.
Before I get out of here, I just want to say to Luke's point, the Phillies home opener is already trending on SeatGeek.
Oh god.
So,
thanks, Don. Appreciate you, brother.
People get right back into it. You know what I mean?
Hey, Charles, thanks for chiming in. Yes, the Mets clutch hitting was very good.
Very good. Boys, I'm out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Great show. Love you guys. Love everybody out there. Appreciate all the comments. More disappointment. Maybe we get some positivity on Sunday. We're gonna have a long off season here for the Phillies on what they got to do.
I'm positive Jalen will turn the ball over.
Me too.
Hopefully we'll win anyway. Come on, man.
Find the what? SeatGeek, KZ. SeatGeek. It's where you sell tickets, babe. You know what I mean? Welcome to 2024. If you
No
haven't
ad.
been here.
No ad, but we're here, SeatGeek. Or TickPick.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're around. You guys know where we're located. In Choke and Clapsville. We're out of here.